If any member is interested in being seated on the auditing committee for the upcoming audit, please send me an email at my Mites email address, which is treasurer@mites.cc, and you'll be considered for that position. And as we have a small group here, if anybody knows of any members around them that are interested in accounting and auditing that would like to be on that board also, or interested in that, or mentioned to you in the past that they were interested in finances for Mites, let me know and just email me and we'll be in touch. That's my report.
All right, discussion.
Can you send that information to Lois for the newsletter? Or at least the need for committee members?
That's a good idea. We can do that. Thanks, Rick, for bringing that up.
Josh, can you send it to me as well, and I'll send out stuff?
I will do that. Dave, you have Lois's contact information, right? So if I send that to you, you could send that to her.
Yeah, I'll drop her email in chat, or you know what? I'll text it to you.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
All right, do we have any more discussion for Josh Burkhardt and auditing committee? All right, so with that being said, all those in favor of accepting his report, say aye.
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 All of those opposed, say nay. All right, so with that, it is moved that we accept Josh's auditing committee report. And we move on to endowment committee, Dennis Herron.
Okay, short and sweet, since we only have 8 people here. I'm here twice because I can't see on the small screen, so I have the large computer open as well. I'm going to skip the history and just get right to the nuts and bolts. Our beginning balance for this fiscal year was actually from 2019, and it stood at $17,435. We had no report last year because of the pandemic. This year, special thank you sent out to Hall of Fame donors Dick and Brenda Cryer for their recent donation. As of today, the endowment balance stands at $18,290 plus interest for 2020 and 2021 of $107 at about 0.2%. Most of our donations come during convention registration, so I really won't get a report on any new donations that we've received, for this conference, if any were forthcoming. At the close of this convention, the chair recommends that the interest for this year be transferred, for this year and last year be transferred to the general fund, $107 back to the general fund. And that will leave us a starting balance for beginning tomorrow of $18,290. As you are aware, I've been looking for a replacement. Josh stepped up 3-4 months ago. I kind of vacillated a little bit, saying, I really am not going to leave in the middle of the year, but we're not at the middle of the year anymore. So on a personal note, I'd like to announce I'm stepping down as chair of the endowment committee after 20 years, I realized. Josh will be taking over the duties starting with the summer meeting. I appreciate all of you for your support and your hard work on behalf of MITES and for all of the donations that you've made and contributions. So that concludes the report of the endowment committee. I move for its acceptance.
All right,
Second.
Nice.
So moved.
Thanks, Dennis.
let's
Yes,
open it up.
thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you for serving us for 20 years.
20 years, I know.
Your wisdom and guidance have been more help than what you could ever imagine over the last couple of years.
Thank you very much. Glad to do it.
All right, so I do have a couple questions for you though, Dennis.
Yep.
Has Jim reached out to you about his investment committee?
just, kind of in passing, after my letter the other day, or a week or two ago, I kind of got the red lettered one back, and I'm kind of vacillating on whether I want to participate or not. But, we'll cross that bridge when we finally get to it.
Yeah.
He wondered if it wasn't time to get a group together to talk about investments, and I think it is. I think it would be smart to include a handful of past presidents, plus whomever else wants to participate, just to get the perspective and to get some level-headedness going as far as, what are we comfortable investing in?
Right.
How much risk do we want to take? That's been the roadblock for a long time.
Right.
In the early part of the endowment, we had discussions about hiring an investment person. That was actually the proposal when we first started. And everybody was a little nervous about that, so we didn't take any action. You look at the total of over $18,000 and think, boy, that's really, there's some potential there to make some interest. But
Mhm.
it didn't get to 18,000 overnight. It's taken 20 years. What we really need is, besides the investment advice, we need to take some action as far as writing to different foundations and, trying to recruit some donations that will help build it. When George Hank proposed the idea back in 1998, 99, he was talking about after 10 years, we'd have 100 grand earn an interest, and the interest would, go toward running the show.
Right.
We're still shy of 100 grand. So I keep hearing about, the Gates Foundation and obviously Abrams and stuff like that. And I think that, we had tried early on to recruit some funding from major foundations without much success. But it was because the people that were running the show were spread pretty thin and trying to do 2 and 3 jobs. So, I've told Josh this before. I says, thank you so much for stepping up. But I think that whoever is in charge of fundraising, that's all they need to do. They don't need 6 jobs. And until we have more than 8 people at an annual meeting, I don't think that's going to change.
Right.
But that just thoughts off the top of my balding head.
No, the only reason I ask is I know a month ago, because Jim was hammering this one hard.
Yep.
A month ago, we told him, all right, assemble a committee, get the report ready, so that we can start looking at investments. And so I was wondering if he followed through. And I remember that email. That was not a good email sent. I don't blame you for not wanting to reach back out. But that was one of our things with him of, hey, all right, you're hounding us. Well, here's your opportunity. And
Yep.
that's like he's quite following through with it.
Well, his part of that email or a subsequent one said, is it time to do this? So I guess he doesn't realize that you told him to move forward.
And I did look out of pure curiosity one day. I looked at, because he kept on saying Ford stock, Ford stock, Ford stock. And I looked at the Ford stock, and it's almost at its maximum potential growth right now. When you look at, I looked at it over the past 5 years, it was doing strong, but then as soon as COVID-19 hit, it completely tanked.
Yep.
And what he's been seeing is a doubling in the stock, because it went from $13 a share down to, I think, $4 a share.
Yep.
And now over the past 6 months, it's gone back up to about $12 a share. So even our maximum potential growth is minimal. I mean, it still is there, but it's still minimal.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need to jump on that right then. And, people are still uncomfortable. So,
Yep.
I mean, it makes great sense, but that's hindsight.
Yep. So,
If we'd have jumped on the investment market in 2003 and 4, when things were starting to pick up, by 2008, we'd have lost 60% of what we had. So,
right.
Yep.
Yeah, that fall
we'd have recovered it by now, but we'd be in better shape. There's no doubt, but we're in safe shape now. So it's,
Yep.
and $18,000 for an investment is a nice thought, but it isn't gonna double in a few years. It's just not, unless we get outside donations.
Yeah, or if you want to take a huge risk.
Yep.
I mean, huge pay, but huge
Yep.
risk. You could lose it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, most likely not, but you just can't guarantee. So,
so,
okay.
all right. Do we have any more discussion for Dennis and the endowment committee? All right, all those in favor of accepting Dennis's report, say aye.
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 And all those against, say nay. All right, with that, looks like we unanimously accept Dennis's report. And we can move on to the election committee report. Rick Tank, I don't think I saw Rick here. Tanker is not here, but I know that we had a couple votes that we pushed through. And let's see, Dave, since you're part of the election committee, can you give us a look at what those two elections look like? What were they about and what were the results?
Are you talking?
The freeze of position
Oh,
and
Okay.
also the constitution election.
yes. The freeze passed at 98% with, I think the numbers are 103 votes. Two said no, and two were classified as others, which were write-ins. So that passed with an overwhelming majority. That was the position freeze. And then the Constitution passed, I believe, with 90% approval, with 6 saying no to it, and everybody else voting in favor. The 6 that voted no wanted to vote each item by like line items, but that still passed as well.
Awesome. All right. So that would be our election committee report. Do you want to move to get that accepted, Dave?
Is there a motion to accept the minutes for the election committee?
That's what I'm asking you to do.
Oh, sorry, misunderstood. I move to have the minutes accepted for the election committee.
I'll second that.
All right, and discussion. So looking at that and those numbers, that sounds fantastic. You're saying that we got 103 votes for the freeze, and then what is that, like 90 votes for the other one? I would say that that's a success considering last year this time we had a hard time getting 20 votes.
It was 106 votes total.
Awesome.
And I
So-
think with some more tweaking, we can get even better results.
So it looks like our investment into SurveyMonkey was a well-spent investment. And hopefully we can keep that going for future years. All right, do we have any more discussion for Dave for the election committee report?
I would just like to give Yasmin credit for pushing hard for SurveyMonkey. Big payoff there, and yeah, props to her for it.
Heck yeah. All right, if there's no more discussion for our election committee report, all those in favor of accepting the election committee report, say yay.
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 And all those against our accepting the report, say nay. All right, so we can move on. We have honorary membership with me. I am unfamiliar with this one. I think we did have an honorary member nominated, but I don't remember it coming across. I think that was one thing that Tanker was going to take care of too.
I've received the awarded article and that. So it's been done.
Okay. Rick, do you want to share with us about our honorary membership?
It's going to LL Johnson.
All right. So we did that for LL Johnson. LL Johnson is a wood manufacturer in Charlotte, Michigan that has done a lot to promote mites and woodworking all across the state of Michigan. So let's see. With that, we submit our report for honorary membership and open it up to discussion.
Did L&L Johnson donate the wood for our awards this year? Does anybody know?
I think they have, off and on.
Yeah, I know they did last year, and same with Harvey or Walter. Or I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah,
Tecumseh.
Harvey,
Yeah,
Walt
Tecumseh.
Harvey.
Okay, I just didn't know if they did this year's with our awards for this year. I didn't know if they donated wood.
Yeah, that is something we're gonna have to talk to Tank about.
Okay.
I think Tank is one of the people that's gonna be taking over making our plaques for next year. So we want to make sure to get on top of that, hopefully sooner rather than later, so we have all those ducks lined up.
Has, Jeff was making them a year ago. Did he make another set this year? That's one of the questions you need to find out, how many are on hand.
Mhm.
'Cause,
I have-
know-
I have a
I know that
ton.
Jeff and Tanker are talking.
Cool.
So they're in that mix together.
Chuck, remind me to tell Rick that I have lots of awards. I have lots of them in the trailer.
yeah, cool.
Okay.
I have boxes. So
Just
Remind
an
me.
FYI, Steve Hilgendorf owns he's a past treasurer. He owns a sawmill with a kiln, and Dick Cryer came up with a bunch of lumber, primarily oak, that he brought and donated a bunch of lumber. We took our shares, which we helped him cut, and turned it into a big stack of oak for plaques too. So there's once you run out of the professional guys, we got our semi-professional folks backing up too. So if there's a point where you need plaque material, there's a good potential right there.
that's a really good idea.
We did a stack a year ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, I guess. We did a stack of 500 board feet, and
Okay.
it's we can do it just about any time. Just have to have the lead time for drying and stuff. So
Sure. We'll have to pass that info along to Rick.
yep.
Yep. All right. Okay, so with that, is there any more discussion for honorary membership? All right, with all that being said, all those in favor of accepting LL Johnson for our honorary membership, say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed, say nay. All right. And they are our honorary membership. And we can move on. Commercial exhibit, Rob Lindsay. I do not see Rob Lindsay here.
I could do that report if you need me to.
Sure, why don't you give us that report?
So we have, at least for the website, we have 22 advertisers right now for this year, and I'm talking to 3 more currently, sending out paperwork, hopefully either tonight or tomorrow morning for them, for both the website and the journal.
That is awesome.
And they're
Are
all they're all new advertisers to us.
Nice.
Heck
Wow.
yeah.
That's what I have. I moved to have the commercial exhibit meeting minutes or report minutes accepted.
I'll
So
second.
moved in second.
All right, and discussion. Are those 3 businesses that you went out and got, or what are you working with Rob on them?
They were ones that, let's see how to put this. I will say approached me, or I was sent their information. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right, hey, that works for us.
They're all vendors from, well, 2 of them are vendors from the virtual conference this year, and one is a relationship that I've had off and on over the years.
Cool. Nice.
Sweet. That works. I love it. So, and I'm excited to see in the summer how our virtual conference did. I know we had a lot of positive reviews and a lot of good things happening, but I'm curious to see what the numbers look like this summer once everything is said and done. So, any more discussion for the commercial exhibits? All right. So with that being said, all those in favor of accepting the meeting minutes, or I'm sorry, the report, say aye.
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 All right, and all those opposed of the report, say nay. Okay, so that is officially passed unanimously, and we can move on to unfinished business, which we have no unfinished business. We did our best over the last 6 months to try and clear up our unfinished business so that we didn't have things taking a year, 2 years and instead. So we have no unfinished business, and we can move on to new business, which we didn't have a whole lot of new business. I did put something on our agenda. 2022 conference planning positions need filled. With the passing of our new constitution, we rearranged our positions underneath, actually our leadership positions, and also our convention positions. And what we mean by that is, obviously our president is now going to stay in place and he's going to run every year. Our vice president is going to stay in place and he's going to run every year. But also our convention chair is a position that is now going to be appointed, and it is going to have a committee to go with it. So for instance, the RAO chair, Kevin's position as rules committee chair, those are going to be positions on that, which those are already taken, but we are expanding it into, for instance, a PD chair. We need somebody to look at expanding and going after that PD so we can get another great session. This year was a starter, and it was nice that Adam didn't have all those things on his plate. He was able to get some really good PD. Also, we have Michelle. We did contract Michelle for 3 years, correct, Josh?
It was just this first go round with trying out PD virtually, and then we have to reevaluate the contract.
Okay. All right. So we hopefully will bring Michelle back on next year so we can do another great virtual PD conference next year. But we need somebody to go after and try and get us from 20, was it 20? No, it was 22 videos to possibly more like 30 or 40, just so we can offer more things to our membership. I know another position that we were looking at was like a social event kind of coordinator. So basically somebody that can coordinate at our conference different social activities to try and bring our membership together more. I know one thing I had in mind, I'd like to do something with some more door prizes. It seems like when we were up in Saginaw and we had, I think Joe Churches was the convention chair that year. He did a phenomenal job about getting a whole bunch of different things donated. And I remember we had an awesome just door prize raffle there. And that was one of the highlights of what I remember, because I remember just going there and seeing a group of 100 different teachers sitting in the same room, just enjoying, having a beer, drinking. But more importantly, they were rubbing elbows and, getting some free stuff there. And I remember seeing a lot of faces and a lot of smiles that day. So that's something I'd like to try and go with, but we need people to organize this. For us to try and push that all onto one person. Our convention chair, which is Adam Carr, I don't think that's really feasible to do it, and more importantly, to do it well to the level that we need it to perform. So looking forward, I'd like to see us send out something and see if we can recruit a couple people to fill in some of those important positions underneath that convention. And I think that if when we by cutting that position apart into those little committees, I think hopefully we can find some people that are really, really interested in doing those jobs and doing them well. So, what do we do we have any input or any discussion with conference planning positions?
I think one of the positions ought to be a past chair, or the two past chairs ought to be part of that committee as well. Once it gets established, then maybe not so much and you can replace them, but until we get this system going, rely on a few of the previous conference chairpersons to help out.
Right, and I think those would be the best people to reach out to. Like I remember, I'd like to reach out to Brian Kaloa and see if he'd be interested in doing the PD. I remember during his convention up in Shanty Creek, I remember we had a lot of really positive things about the PD that he did. So no, I think you're 100% right, because they're going to know a little bit more about where to go and how to do it and how to set it up. All right. Do we have any more discussion about conference planning positions?
Nope.
All right. So we're going to open up the floor to any other new business that we have that we need to talk about or discuss. Does anybody have anything else we want to talk about? Dave?
One thing I'm looking at doing this year, and I am gonna need some, I guess, graphic support. So we haven't had any Mites merchandise or apparel come out in several years. I would like to do a web store where we can do batch runs of like polo shirts or t-shirts, hats, whatever we want. Where we'd open it up for purchase for 2 weeks. People would order it and then it would get produced, and the producer, whoever we end up going with, would ship it directly to the whoever ordered it. So I'm going to look at, we've got a couple of members that have been helping out with some graphics work. So we're going to look at getting them involved to clean up the Mites graphics that we typically already have, but then also design some new stuff as well. Big thing I would love to do is see if we could get 2 or 3 bumper stickers, and like next year's convention, have 1,000 of them available to members to show that they're a Mites member and kind of get our name out there more.
I think,
I think it's a great idea.
yeah, that's a great idea. If I were you, when we do that, yeah, we want to get an order going first, but it doesn't hurt to order more. That way we have some extra on hand and we
Sure.
don't have to, do a 2 week. That way we have a little bit extra laying around. I'm sure that there is a way that we can look into all of our graphic arts people, because we run a graphic arts program. So it seems like a pretty natural fit that we could reach out to them. I know that they do, for instance, Kelly, I want to say Vandenberg, but I know it's not Van, it's a Van out of Van Buren. She does screen printing and things like that over there. She might be somebody we can reach out to, but we should definitely be able to reach out to our membership to get them to help with that. I mean, they're already doing it.
Well, our graphics, the graphics person at my school, they do embroidery and screen printing. They are looking to start doing outside ordering.
Oh, perfect.
So I didn't want to volunteer them right away, but I'm going to.
There you go.
So, that's stuff we can look into, and that's going to be kind of a summer project to get up and running for next year for me.
I think we should make those shirts that Dennis has and the one that Rick wears at the convention as a throwback. Those things are
Yes.
Bumper sticker was, Lutz had these made, and that was a saying that he kind of came up with. With the word works, works both ways, works. And so we had a bunch of these printed and gave them out in our packet, I don't know, early 2000s. It was kind of a cool, and that's where that saying came from.
I think that's definitely something we can do. I know when Dave just mentioned bumper stickers, I was thinking, well, I got a vinyl cutter right here in the house. That's something that's pretty easy to cut out some vinyl and make some vinyl bumper stickers for.
That one's upside down.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
there you go.
Nice.
Was Goodhart Wilcox used to give you a different bumper sticker every year when you came. It was cool. Remember the baby on board ones?
Mhm.
I made woodworker on board ones. All of my students had them.
Who was Dave? Do you remember when we were in Saginaw, that young lady that was silk screening right next to my rules trailer? Do you remember who that was?
I don't, but I think I have the information from that convention. I could probably look it up.
I can't remember. She had students there producing.
Andrea.
Andrea, that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andrea. She had students making shirts at the convention for people who wanted them. I always thought that was pretty cool because you got
Oh, yeah.
students involved.
Mhm.
I thought it was one of the years we were in Saginaw, and I thought it was a good idea. But I definitely agree with getting merch out. I think getting your name out, and I don't know if Dennis still has that S10, but he had a bumper sticker on his topper for the longest time or whatever, and you'd always see that, and it always stuck out. I think it's good to have. I think it's good to have advertising.
Well, and I mean, I would love to see, maybe make some bigger ones like for that back window of your truck or something, or the back of your car, yeah, or trailer. Yeah, that would be,
Or even in the classroom, if you can make you can order a flag through Skills USA. Why can't you order a Mites flag and hang it in the classroom? Just to get
actually
kids talking,
on,
they go,
I
"What is that?"
have 4x6 windows in my room. So we have a 4-foot wide by 4-foot wide Mites logo. Just one color, just right on the glass there in vinyl.
Yeah, even if it just starts up a conversation or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
anything, anything just to
guys,
get your name.
Do you remember those 3-foot metal mite signs we made a couple years ago?
Yep.
Yep. I actually had a couple of our different people, a couple of our welding classes across the state ask for the CNC file for that. And then and so I sent it to them, and then I had another couple groups, schools ask for me to make a couple of those signs for them. So I'm totally up for it. I mean, it's not a super quick project, but I'd still be more than happy to make something for them as long as they cover.
I
our
wonder
material cost.
I wonder if we should put somewhere on a website those files, like our CNC files, whether it be a CRV, whether it be a TAP file, or whether it just be G code, or like the Torchmate, whatever theirs is through their
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yep.
I wonder if we should put that on the website, for people if they want to produce signs for their shop or whatever for projects, like they're able to locate at least the CAD drawings. But if you already had the CNC program, you could just tell what it goes, what it's compatible for. Might be a start. Might be kind of cool for a lot of people to see that, and then they just don't have to put the work into trying to find out, and might be worth something.
What about doing that with some of the graphics as well? So like if you wanted to
Absolutely.
put a vinyl sticker on your window of the Mites logo, do that as well.
I wonder, we should be able to just upload a DXF of our logo.
I have a DXF
Sure.
I got from Jeff Glusarian. Also, we can make also like letterheads, and so we all you're using the same logo. I don't know what to say, or like I don't know.
Header.
Yeah, header. Like you could almost put that on there as also, so everybody's using the same. Whether we put it all in our signatures for our emails, or whether any paper that we produce, we all have the same letterhead. That might be worth something to put on the website as well.
Do we have a button on our website? And this is just my ignorance. Do we have a button on our website that says resources?
That's a really good question.
Because that would be a good option for us to put a lot of those things that we're talking about,
Yeah, if we don't have it, we have member resources. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we can probably put it underneath there, and yeah, let's work on maybe doing some of that this summer.
Okay, I'll get
Yeah.
an email out in the next couple of weeks requesting that, and people can just send it to me and I'll put it up on our Google Drive for long-term storage, but then also on the website as well. Oh, you
From
know
I
what?
understand-
That's the
Go
other thing. There's a bunch of files, like all of the award CNC files. We should get copies of those probably from Gulesarian, just as Josh and I say, the bus theory, in case somebody gets hit by a bus. We have all those files.
Yeah, save them on our Google Drive.
Yep.
I like it.
We do want to watch putting out our logo and other things like that. In the past, we've had problems with that. Companies using our logo saying Mites endorses our product and various other things. So we really clamp down on the use of the Mites logo or availability of the Mites logo. And we just want to keep that in mind.
Yeah, we can secure that. Rick, you can probably answer this now that I think about it. Is the Mites logo copyrighted?
No.
That's something we should look into as well. I can look into that paperwork. Just because then if another company decides to use that, we show ownership of it. And that would help in the cases that Rick was just talking about.
Interesting.
Yeah, if the Mites logo is out there, I mean, any teacher could send a letter with the Mites logo on it, and it could be used in any way, unless we restrict the use of it.
Okay. Well, maybe that's something the board puts together a list of like usage requests.
Approved usages.
If we went back 10, probably 15 years, we'd probably find that in the bylaws.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should.
Bylaws that weren't written down.
Well, maybe that's something the e-board can talk about.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to work around that because I think it's very important that we allow our members to have, I guess usage to make a sign for their classroom or make a flag or make something for their SL, their student leadership organization. They should be able to make shirts or something with that logo. But yeah, we don't want to get it in the wrong hands. So I think we're gonna have to figure that one out.
Maybe we put the access to that behind our firewall, behind our membership login.
Or we can make a contact, like if they want to use it, they can email one person on the committee or somewhere that has those files and they can just send them. So on the resources, if you're interested in any of the logos or the CNC files, contact this person. And then that person can do the research and who they're sending it to, I guess.
Yeah, we could make a little form requesting usage of it. That's a pretty
There you go.
common thing.
Yeah. At least we'll definitely slow down the process of just anybody grabbing the logo. But I do think it's important that we do get apparel, or because it's not going to cost us anything, right, Dave? Because you just put together this, like if you just log on to any one of these websites and you just put the logo on it, a bunch of just different merch, that person's paying for whatever they pick, and then that
Yep.
company's going to produce it based on what they pay for. So it's not anything out of our pocket initially.
Yep.
Maybe just, pennies, and I think that's a good idea because then you can just get a variety of merch made up, but get that advertising out. I think that's really good.
Yep. We can make that all happen.
I like it. All right. Do we have any more discussion for getting some merchandise out?
Sounds good.
We can put that underneath new business or whatnot to talk about. Do we have any more new business to talk about before we adjourn?
Do
I
we
do
have, sorry,
Go ahead, Dennis.
I'm curious about the conference attendance. What can you tell us so far? The virtual conference attendance.
Dave?
I can't say anything at the very moment. Let me see if I can get into the system real quick. Josh, if you don't, Dennis, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask Josh's question to give me a few minutes to find an answer for you, Dennis.
Cool, whatever works.
I actually have inside information on Dennis's question. So as of 8:15 this morning, there were 50 registered attendees of the conference.
Cool. Is Josh, are those videos available still?
Yes,
Can I still log in and finish looking at whatever?
yes.
I've looked at about 6 or 7 so far, and lo and behold, even old Adam was on one. I was going, what the heck is that? No, it was very good. I appreciated it. Kind of gave you old recharge feelings, like when you were there in person. So I think lots of credit to all of you who put this thing together. In most difficult year, this is it's a positive thing. Good job. And thanks to your wife, obviously. Big hugs.
Thank you.
And Dennis, the videos, I think we have to discuss a timeline, but we're going to make them available to everybody. I think what is it, Josh, through the end of today, midnight tonight, to get your sketchies.
Tomorrow night, Sunday night.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow? Okay. Because I still have to do mine later today. But I think moving forward, it's going to be a really good thing.
Is there a point where we take them down?
I think that's something we have to discuss as the board. I think they'll be available, and it really depends on Michelle's answers, whether we have to pay to keep them up in the virtual system, or if we're just going to duplicate them and post them wherever we want, publicly available.
Cool.
I do have a new business when you're done. Sorry.
Part of why I'm asking, I'm glad to hear that last part. My sister-in-law does LCAN. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's a job occupation training for high school students, primarily through Skill Center, but really through all of the schools. And some of the resources that I learned of, like the Carpenters Union and so forth, that'd be perfect for her to look over and make some contact. She obviously wouldn't have any reason to join our conference specifically, but the resources would be valuable and down the road would benefit all of us, I think. So, I'm glad to hear that there's some potential there.
And another thing too, Dave, when we are done with the meeting today and you download the video, will you email that directly to Michelle? She's going to put it in Access for the conference itself. So this meeting will be always available along with all of the other videos for the conference.
Yeah, I'm gonna there's some stuff at the beginning and end probably I'll take out, but yeah, I'll get it to her hopefully tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion for Dennis and this conference that we have? All right, Kevin, did you say you had some new business?
Yeah, really quick. And maybe this is probably for a different meeting, but please bring it up now. I had to order president pins and master teacher pins, and with I'm trying to purchase the dies. So we make our own, and it's been quite the hurdle because who we had made the pins has passed away,
Mm.
and I'm working with the people who designed. But the problem is, since we've changed our president, our minimum order, we have to have president pins made up. I can't put a year below them because we may have presidents repeat themselves. So we decided, I kind of made a decision, and so I'm making up the exact same pin that just says president on it. So moving forth, the president will get the same pin. It just won't have a year on it. And then at the end of their service, we will make up a plaque. Not us make up the plaque, but I'll have a very nice plaque made up, maybe that resembles the same pin with their years of service as the president, because it may be more than a few years. So they'll still get their jewelry, but at the end of their president term, we'll make up a nice display for them so they can display the years that they were president. But the problem is I had to order a minimum of 10 president pins. So we're having 10 president pins that just say president on it. So I guess a new era, a new time. You're not going to have a president pin that's going to have date on it. It's going to just say just president. It's going to look identical. Everything's the same. It just doesn't have a year on it. Master teacher was easy, obviously, because I just get sequential. I just get the years made up for that, because I had to have a minimum order of 20. And so I just figured, well, you never know. You may actually have a turnaround of 10 presidents in 10 years. You never know. Let's hope not, because that was the whole point of the change of that. But anyway, so I have those 10 pins made up. But I'm trying to work on the dies. So if anybody knows who is a good, I don't want to say jeweler, if I can get those dies from, it's a place in Ohio that actually made those pins. I don't know, just keep your ears out. I guess I'd like to get those dies to somebody, but I'd like to own those dies so that we can, moving forward, we can maybe cut the cost down just a little bit.
Yeah, I think us owning our own dies is definitely a way to go.
Yeah, it's a giant hurdle. That's all I can say. It's been quite the chore to even get these things made up, just because of the people who made the pins won't work with the public. It has to go through a vendor, and being how our vendor is no longer, Little Bill's is with the people we were going through, and he's no longer. So anyways, just I don't want to put out there, I just like, if anybody knows of anybody that deals with this, and it'd have to be a jeweler. It can't be an award shop. That's what we're paying for. So
Let me do some talking. I got some mold shops over here that I work really tight with.
okay.
And what they might be able to do is, if we can get them basically our CAD file, what we want these pins to look like, they might be able to cut out an electrode and sink one and make a new die for us. Because I mean, we're only talking a pin that's like a couple inches, right?
Oh, it's not even an inch. No.
Okay. So that, like I
That's small.
said, that might be an option for one of our companies over here to sink one. And if they did that for us, they'd probably do it for free. So then we just have to find somebody to do it, to actually make the jewelry.
And I really want to keep with integrity on keeping what we've done in the past with what we do in the future. I'd like them to look the same, just
Yep.
as being part of that, especially master teacher, just so they continue with that, because that's quite an honor. And then presidents, the only thing, like I say, the president won't have the date on it, but I'd like to continue with what we have done in the past as we do with the future. I really want them to be the same.
Right.
I don't want to make anything better or special or worse. It's one of those things where let's keep them identical. So anyways, I just need a jeweler if I can get my hands on those dies. And if not, maybe we can cut our own dies. So
Mhm.
so
Kevin,
just throw that out there.
Kevin, I wonder, my impression was we owned the last set of dies because we had this problem 20 years ago when we switched the last time.
Okay.
Pete Miller maybe would be a good one to ask if you've still
Yeah, I
got
talked
his
to him.
email.
I talked to him. I talked to Pete and I talked to Cliff.
Okay, those are good ones to ask.
Yeah, I talked to them already, and I ordered the last set 11 years ago.
Okay,
I remember this, and the problem is that it's Katina Metal Specialist LLC in something, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
And lady was very nice. She
Yeah.
worked really well with me. But she couldn't give me information on us getting the dies at the moment. And then I was contacted. I tried another guy, and he's looking into seeing if we own those dies or if they own those dies. But they definitely have the dies. So that was
Cool.
the last I heard. So hopefully moving forward, I can get my hands on those dies.
Yep.
And we can just do it right. So just
Well,
a thought.
thanks
But
for
it was
the
really
extra effort.
because of the president thing.
Yeah.
Not having the years, that's what the holdup was taking that year off. And I was just like, yeah. So I just,
Smart move.
President-
Yeah.
so that's all I have for new business.
Cool.
All right. Do we have any other new business to take care of or talk about?
One last thing from me is that if anyone has submitted a grant or a scholarship application, has not heard from me, that means that the committee did not receive the application for some reason. So if you know of anyone that submitted one or you submitted one, please get with them immediately or contact me immediately and have that. Either way, I need to hear from them by the end of this weekend so we can determine if they are eligible for an award, and they can email me directly at treasurer@mites.cc.
Good.
All right, will do. Anything else for the greater good of the whole? All right.
So, to the best of my knowledge, with the new system, still, Chuck, you're only the second person to be president twice. You're the
Who was the
first one
first?
of the new era, but way back, Al Henrian was president probably in the 80s and again in the 90s. Right around then. So you can't be first, but you're darn close. So congratulations on your re-election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird having not having to pass the gavel at this meeting, that's for
right.
sure.
Well, I don't think I got a gavel to pass, so.
You don't have a gavel?
Nope. With the whole Rona thing, I think we
Yeah, you didn't get one. Yeah.
never really
Oh.
got one, never got one made.
We'll have to get that. We'll have to get going on that.
Yeah. So-
That goes on your plaque that Kevin's arranging here when you're all done.
there you go. That's it.
There we go. Oh, all right. No, I'm happy to do it. I think I'd like maybe it's just my eternal optimism, but I think we're in a really good position right now. We're making some good strides to make good changes. And like I said, hopefully this lasts. Hopefully we can continue on, and more importantly, get some more membership into Mites. Because the more members we can do, the more strength we have, and the more better things we can do for our student base. And let's face it, that's why we all got into education, is to help out our kids. So I'm just honored that I get the opportunity to serve. But, all right. So if we have nothing else to talk about, I would say that we are completed. We're adjourned as of 10:35 on Saturday morning.